Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be tracking a low pressure system to be moving out of the Rockies here. That will bring in plenty of snow across the higher elevations of California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and even parts of New Mexico. They'll be moving out from the Rockies. Could be a winter storm on the backside of that system. But really the main focus on the system here is going to be that severe weather threat across a good chunk of parts of the Ohio Valley, even for the Mississippi River Valley as well. That threat could move into parts for areas a little further east as well by the next day. If you guys do like weather-related content, you can always subscribe to my channel. I do this stuff here all the time on this channel here. You can always look back some of the videos out there as well. So, we got that out of the way. Let's go to get started with the GFS model. And right now we actually do have some snow across parts of the Lower Ohio Valley region. Those will kind of expand here as they moved into the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. Not going to be a big snowmaker or anything like that. Mostly going to be scattered snow showers. Some of the highest snowfall totals will be in the higher elevations of West Virginia and Pennsylvania. But it's not really the big topic of this video here, because look at this system here moving out of the Rockies here. Got heavy snowfall in the parts of the higher elevations in the Rockies out there. It's going to be some good snow out there for them folks, and especially for the skiers out there as well. So let's talk about the system here, and this is the main topic of this video here. You got a 995 millibar low moving across parts of Missouri, Iowa, and also Illinois. That'll move up into parts of the Great Lakes. On the back side of that system, we got a wave of some moderate to maybe at times heavy snow on the backside of that system there. That could be a winter storm for parts of Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, up into parts of Wisconsin and upper Michigan as well. So that'd be a pretty good snowfall event for some of you folks there as well. Maybe getting into parts of southeast of South Dakota as well. So that'd be a good snow event for you guys up there. And in the warm sector here, you got strong southwesterly flow here going on out there. You see those isobars close together. That can mean stronger winds towards the surface here. Your warm front is pretty well up to the north here. Your warm front's up into parts of Michigan. That's pretty far north. Your cold front is something like this here. It's actually going to be more like this. Actually, no. So your cold front is be something like this. It would be a dry line down to parts of Texas and Oklahoma down there. But the main area to focus on for severe weather out of the setup will probably be in these regions right in here. So really from the lower Ohio Valley down to parts of the south as well. And you can see how the system here continues to move on to the northeast, and it does deepen very quickly. When it gets up to northeastern Michigan here by Saturday morning, it's a 986 millibar low, so it's a strong low. Up there, you got shower and thunderstorm activity along that front. As well, some of those storms could be strong to severe. Now, I have some doubts of getting up into parts of Pennsylvania. I don't think you guys will see strong and severe storms up there. It'll be too cold up there. But you can see as it continues to move on to the east, then by daytime heating here for Saturday, your cold front is now across parts of the mid-Atlantic down to parts of the southeast, and there could be some strong to severe storm potential maybe for parts of the mid-Atlantic, maybe down as far south as maybe for parts of North Carolina as well. So that's certainly a possibility. Let's check out the European model, and it's going to be pretty similar to the GFS model here. It's a slightly stronger here for the low. But you do notice here in a little bit more detail here with the reflectivity. Look at some of those scattered cells out there. Some of those could potentially be supercells, and that could be up to parts of Kentucky as well. Showing that potential for some supercellular activity. You can see here how some of those scattered cells kind of get clustered up a little bit as well as we kind of get into the overnight hours as well, which is pretty interesting as well. And here's getting into the morning hours on Saturday. You got some strong to severe storms possibly getting as far north as parts of Ohio. But your main cold front's still a little further to the west here, so a little bit of a different solution here than the GFS model, where the GFS is a little faster with a cold front. It has that line, some of the showers and thunderstorms along the cold front. Meanwhile, the European model is a little bit slower with the cold front, and you actually have a cluster of thunderstorms going on by itself further to the east, and some of those could be supercells as well. You could potentially see strong severe storm potential as far south as getting into parts of Georgia and Alabama at around this point. And then kind of moving on to the daytime heating hours for Saturday, you'll see here you got your cold front out here. Could be some strong, maybe potential severe storms from the parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas as well. Here's the GFS ensembles there, and you'll see a very similar solution here. Low moving through some of the same areas, severe weather and warm sector, deepens as it moves to the northeast. So pretty similar here to the other models, and certainly a pretty strong agreement there as well. Here's the mean snowfall accumulations, by the way, from the GFS here. It shows some of the greatest snowfall potential, probably more focused up into Wisconsin, where it's got some areas 7 to 8 inches of snow. But keep in mind here, this is a mean here of 20 members, so it may not be 100% accurate, but it tells you where the greatest potential here of snowfall could be. Anyway, so showing that greatest potential maybe up into parts of Wisconsin and Michigan than some of the other states as well. But look at the higher elevations in Colorado. Lots of snow in those higher elevations as well. For those Rocky Mountains out in the parts of the west, even for the Sierra Mountains in California, showing quite a bit of snow out there as well. Not only we're going to be seeing a severe weather threat in the winter storm threat, there could also be a little bit of a flash flood threat as well, which recently models here have been backing off of those rainfall amounts that are across these regions in here. We've been talking about possibly maybe 1 to 4 inches of rain, and since then, models have really been backing off of those rainfall totals, which is certainly a good thing here because some areas in central Kentucky got quite a bit of flooding from the last severe weather event, so we do not need any more rain in some of those regions here. But we'll still have to keep an eye on that threat as well. So it's certainly something we need to keep an eye on as well. Here's the weather predictor real quick with that rainfall potential. It's higher than some of the other models as well, showing that widespread 2 to 3 inches of rain. But we'll see what the higher resolution models will say when we kind of get into that time period. Now, the NAM does not go throughout the entire event here. It at least goes through really Friday evening into Friday night. And you can see here during the overnight hours on Friday with the reflectivity, here's your low up in northern Illinois. You got cluster thunderstorms that do develop in western Tennessee and western Kentucky here. And you do see some scattered cells up into parts of Indiana, maybe to parts of Ohio as well. Check out this low of a jet here, and this certainly helps increase that wind shear potential there. I mean, just check this out here. You got such a large area here for a strong low of a jet here. Really focus in the areas in the red. That's where we have some of that strongest low of a jet winds. And you can see here, winds across these areas here could be anywhere from 55 to possibly as high as 70 knots out in those regions as well. So really you have the entire state of Indiana, getting into parts of Ohio, the entire state of Kentucky, parts of Tennessee, even for parts of Mississippi and Alabama, even for Illinois as well, even getting into parts of West Virginia as well. But if we kind of go back here, you certainly see here, especially when we kind of get to peak time heating here of Friday, late Friday afternoon to early Friday evening, you do see here still a pretty decent low of jet there at around that same time frame as well. Still 50 to 60 knots out there as well, which is favorable for severe weather as well. But then again, you notice here how to really get stronger here as we kind of go deeper into the night there. That's also going to be caused by that deepening low pressure system as well. Another thing I want to note here is that if we go down to the surface here, check out these dew points. Something you don't typically see here. Now, it's something you can see maybe a few times here in the winter across the south, but when you're talking about 60 plus dew points up into parts of Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and Missouri, That's stuff you don't see very often here, and it's just not right around 60 degrees. You got some places that gets into the mid 60s as well. That's certainly a little bit unusual for this time of year, and that's a pretty favorable. Those are some pretty good dew points there that could be favorable for severe weather, as well. Which one meteorologist did mention here that this could reach to near record levels for dew points, as well, and that really tells you something there of how volatile this environment here really could be. And here's those temperatures there. We got well above normal temperatures in the warm sector. You got 60s, possibly getting up into parts of central Indiana, even getting into parts of Illinois, possibly getting into parts of southern Ohio as well. So certainly going to be very mild for a lot of these areas in here, and that could flirt with record highs as well. So certainly very, very warm temperatures up there as well for this time of year. And then again, that's 30 to 35 degrees above normal. So certainly well above normal temperatures out there as well. If we check out the superset composite at around the same time frame, you can see your certainly pretty favorable environment here for severe weather across parts of Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, even into parts of Arkansas as well. Even gets as far south as parts of Texas and Louisiana as well. But certainly the main area to focus here will probably be in this region here at around this time frame. At least that's what's indicated by the NAM here as well. If we get a sounding out kind of along the Mississippi River there, you can see here it's not very impressed here with that photograph here. I think this is a little bit farther to the west here from that greatest wind shear. But it does show a decent amount of instability at around the same time frame. I mean, 886 with that instability. At this time of year, you really do not need a whole lot of wind shear. Well, I mean instability for this time of year. So even with 886 with that cape, that's favorable for severe weather. You even got that elevated mix layer here in the mid levels as well, which can certainly help with some of those updrafts as well. So that could increase your hail threat as well. So then again here, a very, very large warm sector that we got here. So it's not just going to be for like a small region. This is going to be happening over a large region here. You can see with the superset composite here, it covers pretty much almost the entire state of Arkansas. So that really tells you something here, that this is a very large warm sector here, especially for the month of December. And like I said, for instability values here, you don't really need very high instability values here for severe weather. You can see here you got a large area of really between 500 to almost 900 joules per kilogram of instability across parts of Missouri, Illinois, even into parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. So the greatest instability will be further to the south across parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas as well. So certainly a lot of instability is going to be able to be worked with a setup like this. Here's your significant tornado parameters here. It's a little early to kind of take a look into this as we're still far out. But really, over a 1, you do have a little bit of a tornado threat. But over a 2, that's a significant tornado threat. And you can see here you do have some numbers up to a 3. Now, this could change here. Keep in mind that. It's not to scare people or anything like that, but certainly the possibility is there we could see some tornadoes out there as well. And you can see here, if we go for the next couple hours, you can see here it still continues to move up to the north, even getting close to parts of northern Indiana as well. So certainly a very large region out here that we need to watch for as well. And again, the NAM doesn't go through the entire event. We'll look into some other models here. But here's a high-res Canadian here, and you can see here, here goes your warm front right here. Your cold front will be situated probably something like this at around this point here. And you can see here, it's got some scattered showers. Some of these could be thunderstorms out there as well. So I had to pay attention to these areas up here as well, where we do have some of this greatest wind shear up there as well. But as we kind of get deeper into the night here, and this is at the middle of the night here, you got thunderstorms that are blowing up along that cold front across parts of Arkansas, moving up into parts of Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, eventually getting into parts of Kentucky. You also do notice here it is starting to pop up a little bit stronger storms up into parts of Indiana and Kentucky at around the same time frame as well. And some of those could be supercells as well. If we check out instability values here from the highest Canadian, and this is just in the middle of the night. You can see here, there's certainly an area here with pretty favorable instability values as well. And then again, with an atmosphere like this here with such a high wind shear environment here, you don't necessarily need high cape numbers. You've seen what happened back on Sunday night into Monday morning. We had a couple of tornadoes that rode through parts of central Kentucky during that night there, and the instability values were only like 100 to 200 joules per kilogram. You still had tornadoes and some severe weather out there, so it does not take that much instability to get severe weather going. Speaking of some wind shear, let's check out that low level jet there at around the same time frame. You can see here areas in the red here. That's where we got some of the strongest low level jet winds. It even gets down as far south as parts of central Mississippi, and it goes as far north as parts of Ohio and Indiana. So then again, a very large region here, but it did have some of those most favorable instability values kind of in this general region here. So still, then again, a very large region here that could be undergone for some strong to potentially severe thunderstorms as well. All right, let's kind of check out some of the more global models here. We'll also kind of check out a little bit more into Saturday as well. So this is by 12 o'clock here. So this is noon on Friday here, at least for Easter time it is. If we go down to the surface here for temperatures, look how warm these temperatures are. These are all above normal temperatures here. I mean, look across Oklahoma, low to mid 70s. Southern Texas are talking about 80s. Even parts of Louisiana are talking about close to the 80-degree mark as well. And it's only noon, which is pretty insane. If we go to 2 o'clock here, you got temperatures in again further to the south, deep in the 70s to low 80s. That's pretty warm. Then you got 70 degrees, possibly getting up to as far north as parts of the lower Ohio Valley region, or southwestern Kentucky to be a little bit more Pacific. Then here's 7 o'clock here. Then again, temperatures deep in the 60s out there as well, and that's then again well above normal temperatures for this time of year. But here's the dew points here. I mean, low to mid 60s. Those are some very favorable dew points here. And then again, this covers a very, very large region here. I mean, it covers over multiple states here with dew points like this. I mean, this is something, then again, you don't typically see in December with dew points like this. Then as you move on to around 10 o'clock here, still got very favorable dew points here. If we check out rain and thunder here, or precipitation here, then again, you got scattered thunderstorms are forming across parts of Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, parts of Mississippi, Tennessee, even getting into parts of Kentucky as well. And underneath with that favorable dew points here, if we check out that low of a jet here at 850 millibars, it's got a very strong low of a jet across parts of Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, into parts of Illinois and Indiana as well. I mean, that's 50 to 70 knots up there, and that's a very strong low of a jet out there as well. Here's 3 o'clock here. It looks like it only gets a little bit stronger here, especially when it gets into parts of the Ohio Valley as well. Now, wind gusts at the surface, though, that's going to be another threat. We could see pretty strong winds at the surface here, maybe a max 40 miles an hour. Typically, the models are overdone when it comes to wind gusts at the surface. But either way, even without thunderstorms, you could still see strong wind gusts at the surface as well. Here's temperatures here down at the surface here, and this is 3 o'clock in the morning. Still deep in the 60s. I mean, that's something you don't typically see again. And then again, You got a temperature that's going to be near record levels. So this is pretty insane here. How the Hermals, or the European model, I should say, spitting out some of these numbers here. Even getting into the upper 50s, though, even though you may not be in the low 60s, even for upper 50s, can still be favorable for some thunderstorm activity. It still can be. If we check out the lightning density, it does indicate possibility for some thunderstorm activity, maybe getting as far north as parts of southern Michigan. We may not see strong thunderstorm activity up there, but with some of these higher lightning density values here, it's probably where we could see most of the action there for some strong to severe thunderstorms as well. If we kind of go up to 500 millibars here, this is something the SPC did mention here, that this is going to be a positively tilted trough. Now, it's not necessarily too bad here for severe weather. If you really want bad severe weather, you want this here to be a negative tilt trough. But right now it's likely to be positively tilt here. And even for positively tilt troughs here, you can still get severe weather. It's just the difference between a positive tilt trough and a negative tilt trough. Typically with negative tilt troughs, you could get bigger severe weather events, but still with positively tilt troughs, you can still get some severe weather with it as well. One of the most notable events is that Super Tuesday outbreak back in 2008. That was actually a positively tilt trough. So that's what the SPC did mention here in their discussion, which honestly, I don't think it won't matter too much here what type of trough it is, because you can still get severe weather either way. That's just how it is here. So then again, even with a positively tilt trough, you can still get some severe weather out of this here, especially with the dynamic, not necessarily dynamics, but you also got the moisture return and all that stuff. I mean, that's certainly very favorable for some severe weather. So let's check out them instability values here from the European model. And even at 3 a.m., you got favorable instability values, even getting as far north as parts of Illinois and Indiana. I mean, it's over up to 600 in some places. That's favorable for some severe weather. Really, areas here in the blue here and the greens, that'll be favorable for some severe weather as well. If we kind of go back this up a little bit here, you can see at 9 o'clock here, you got pretty favorable instability values up there as well. But as always here, the greatest instability values here will be further to the south here, more focused in Texas and Louisiana, where we had the better opportunity to see 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram here. But kind of going over these favorable instability values here, you got a strong low of a jet. So this is a pretty favorable environment here for supercells as well, if any can form, which in this case here from the European model, looks like some supercells could form in that environment there as well. If we check out the Gfs model here, it's not as aggressive here as the European model, but you still got a strong low of a jet across some of these regions in here. With instability here, looks to be a little bit better here than the European model here. It's not as far north, but as you kind of go a little deeper to the night here, you kind of see here how it goes a little bit further north than that. Kind of gets as far north as parts of southern Indiana here. Then gets at 2 a.m. at around that time there. So then again, the GFS is not as aggressive here as the European model. If we check out those temperatures at the surface here at 10 o'clock, certainly very mild out there as well. Widespread mid to upper 60s out there. Some isolated low 70s may be possible in an environment like that as well. And here's the dew points here. Pretty similar to European model. Low to mid 60s with the dew points. Something you don't typically see, especially for this time of year as well. So then again, we have to watch these regions in here for that potential for some strong to severe storms. And I will say that all hazards will certainly be possible here across these regions here as well. So basically the lower Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley vicinity here, and even goes down along the Mississippi River Valley as well, or I should say the mid to lower Mississippi River Valley as well. All right, let's kind of talk a little bit about Saturday here with the setup here. So this is then again looking at those dew points here, even across the Carolinas, even getting as far north as parts of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. You got dew points right around 60 degrees. That'd be pretty favorable for some strong to severe storms. Temperatures will also be pretty mild as well, especially in the Carolinas and parts of Virginia, mid 70s. That's pretty warm for this time of year. There's your cold front back there, and the GFS doesn't really show much of wave instability out there. Not a whole lot out there, but if we do check out that low level jet out there at 850 millibars, there is a pretty strong low level jet out there that extends all the way back into parts of Alabama and Georgia. So still a very large warm sector here. If we move on to 4 o'clock here, if we check out those instability values again, still not very favorable there with instability values. I think that's a little bit underdone there with those instability values. European model is also not very aggressive here with those instability values as well, but I still do believe these models here may be underdone with those instability values out there. If you do check out the Lova jet again, it's going to be pretty strong out there as well. With such a strong Lova jet, can lead to some strong southerly southwesterly winds at the surface as well. And just by looking into the European model with temperatures here, then temperatures are going to be very mild, and dew points here will also be in the 60s as well. So I think the models are underdone here with the instability values. I think the instability values will be higher. So we'll probably have to watch. I think the better opportunity for some strong severe storms maybe across parts of Virginia and North Carolina, where it's kind of between here, where some of the greatest instability may exist. But strong storms may be possible as far north as parts of Pennsylvania and New Jersey as well. And it could go all the way back down to parts of Alabama and Georgia as well at around that same time period as well. Eventually, the cold front should pass here into later in the nighttime hours on Saturday as well. And eventually, that cold front will push it to parts of Florida there by during the day on Sunday. But anyways, guys, that's all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Guys, like this video, hit that like button if you do like my channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, put the comment section down below. I heard you guys questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.